of your favorite titles that won this year?
I could start with one which didn't make it to the final, which was Rules of Summer. I think what's interesting about it is it's already a print book, but the way that it was delivered on that tablet was unique, that you start with the detail and then you can push your way out and see all that's revealed in each picture. So although it was sort of paper-based originally, it just did something quite unique.
Red in Bed, that was a very simple story, but it was a new one, and it was a story of some different point with different color, and it was nice because it's for young kids, and it's very simple and entertaining, where each point color with its own color everything, and the red one is sleeping, so until the red wake up, everything is different.
Was it?
Double.
Yeah.
That was a great idea.
Yeah.
That was extremely suitable for an iPad because you turn it and it worked very well in a dynamic way. One of the apps that attracted me was the app to learn the basics of animation. It was a good one because it was very readable in a visual way. That's very important in apps, that you understand the non-verbal logic in what you have to do. Petting Zoo was a kind of drawing. It's more a technical app where you learn how to move with your fingers and transform or let's say change an animal, the animal form.
Very nice. Yeah. Almost won.
Yeah, I know.
Almost. There were quite a few apps that it sort of breaks our hearts because we know
we only have 3 places.
Yeah.
So.
And another one was, which was similar, Infiniscroll, where you went up and down in a drawing, and every time you went up, it changed. So that was a great idea, but
which is one of the things we look for, innovative features. Infiniscroll.
There was Facciamo.
Goes up and down.
These very beautiful kind of Matisse-like cutouts.
Yeah. An attractive app doesn't need much color or much complexity.
And there's some good humor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? I mean, just the joy in some of the apps that came out.
Yeah.
And also that you don't have to spend a lot of money in technical stuff.
Lots of money had been spent on the technical, and then the voiceover was very poor. Actually, the text wasn't good enough, but the way it had been illuminated was fantastic. I thought that seemed such a waste.
Were there some global trends that you saw this year?
I expected more innovation this year. I was thinking that I could see more different kind of apps, while there were still a lot that are just the same as a book transformed in digital. The innovation is still a technical issue, not an editorial one.
I still feel too many just sort of churned out, you know. I mean, maybe it's doing a lot at once, but jingly-jangly music and not very funny and cliches, really. I just think whenever you come across one which has real integrity and stuff, a bit of imagination and innovation, somebody really trying to achieve something.
So the feeling that the 258 entries, there was a lot of template feeling to the entries, that they were sort of like, you know, we're going to make we call them last year page flippers. I think when you see a page metaphor mapped onto a multi-touch screen, it immediately says it's not really forward-thinking. Klaas, you pointed out the orchestra.
Yeah, that was one that struck me in terms of design. It was a well-thought mix of animation, typography, characters that were animated, graphic design and colors, and also motion media. So all in layers, but they all were extremely well mixed, merged. So you don't have the feeling that they were all layers laying up on each other, but it came to one universe, and it worked very well because it combined fiction and non-fiction. It's information and story. What strikes me most is that almost every graphic technique is represented in the submissions. There's a large variety of techniques. So people often think that you obviously have to go to a digital look, a flat digital look, which is not the case, of course. But sometimes you feel that there's a disconnection between the way it is executed and the way it is used. And you work a lot with forms and shapes, and if the shape is designed within the technique, then it works.
Any mistakes, any common errors that you saw that sort of bothered you?
There were lots I just thought, yeah. I just thought they weren't thought through. They weren't. The illustration just wasn't of a high enough.
Is it fair to say that there's a lot more careless work
in
digital media than there would be in print?
And I think the other thing is this interaction thing. You know, prodding away at something gets between you and the story. It has to be appropriate. It has to do something. It has to improve the quality of what you're looking at to be able to touch it and move things about. Otherwise, it's an incredible distraction to be able to sort of point characters about and make weird stuff happen for no particular reason. And I think that's really important, actually.
Well, there's a saying that says that form follows function. It should also be the case in digital productions. In many cases, you see that they choose the most easiest way to make an illustration without thinking about how we're going to, which technique are we going to choose to make the story more unique. In fact, every story needs an identity, and in many cases you see a sort of shablon, cliché. I don't know how you say it in English. Shablon. I mean, you pick something that has already been made and you put it on.
It's reused.
Interchangeability. Yes, that's the word. Yeah.
So recycled.
Yeah, recycled. Yeah, recycled style. Like the primary colors that come back easily.
And also, if you test the application with kids, you immediately realize what they like and what they don't, and how they understand immediately how to use them. When you see a kid that it's waiting, the application is not good, because or if they are not satisfied because they click and they don't see anything happens, that means that something was wrong.
Which isn't to say that they shouldn't be pushing at the boundaries, like a good children's book. The best aren't the ones that kids might seize on straight away, but once they're in there, they discover something really new and very subtle. And I think that's the sort of quality that we're looking for.
What I would like to add to the question you asked about the art direction and the 6 winners that have been chosen, I think that the design is really well directed, is really well taught. It has a great identity. Every app has a great identity. Thinking outside the box, you have quite a logic in many apps. You think, oh, now this is going to happen, but in the apps we chose, there's a twist.
I was going to ask you each to say, you know, your advice, someone who wants to win next year in 2015, what is the one piece of advice that you would give them? And I was going to say, innovation. Do something someone hasn't done. You know, use motion, flip the thing upside down. It's, you know, it has motion sensors. Use it in a creative way. The way that Nosy Pro used the camera in the mirror that turns the live video feed into a shattered mirror so that you can move and see the pieces. Never been done before. And I think that moved it into the winners.
But you can do this if you have a team that are working together. Because you have people knowing the technology, knowing the technical stuff, and people
and knowing what else is going on.
Editorial, and everybody in the team need to have a knowledge about the other.
Well, I think we should be entering an era where these things come out of creative people's desires to make something in the same way they would a book. You know, you think I want to do something, and the obvious way to do it would be to include an interactive element or to work with technology in a different way. And I think, although I agree, I'd like to see more innovation, we also see lots of examples each time of a new gimmick let down by a kind of lack of imaginative coherence. I'd start by wanting to tell a good story or get an idea across or make something that has a certain atmosphere, and then use the appropriate technology, which might be...
We have seen also a lot of applications that use out of rights title. I think if it's possible, find a new story as well, but I think it's much better. And also think not only kids but also young adults. We have one of the titles we choose is for teens, and I think this is an area in which new titles yes, it's a scary one, but I think it's a good one. It's a market segment that is not addressed yet.
Don't be afraid to break some new ground, because we're looking for
not
innovation.
Just kids and small children.
And I think also quality. Music, the best sounds, the best illustration.
This is an Olympic competition, and if you want to win, you win with in the details, in the finishing touch. That's what you said about some apps didn't go to the end, and so. And my second advice would be try to be clear in your target group, but also in what is the meaning of how make it readable for. So that you know what to do. We had many apps when we were talking about it and said, what's the purpose of this?
And the greatest interaction is with your imagination.
Yes.
Every year we enter into this not as experts but as explorers. I learned a great deal. I learned a great deal every year, and also from talking to you, seeing everything from different perspectives. We didn't always agree on certain products. At the end of the day, I think we feel very good about the top 20, all examples that are raising the bar for children. Thank you for the help. Thank you also to the Bologna Fair for letting us do this each year, and I hope we keep doing it for many years.
Thank you to camera woman.
Yeah.
Pleasure.